Hello, and thank you for joining me on my channel. My name is Mariah Tolliver. Now, I want to talk about something that I already posted a video for, and it's really the same message. But the reason that I am redoing this is because towards the last couple of minutes of the video, my microphone died on me. So I was just like, you know, and I hope people were like thinking like, okay, what's wrong with her? She's going crazy. Like, who is this girl? But my microphone died on me. So if you are one of those three people that actually watch the video, you do not have to watch it again, especially if you understood what I was saying. And or maybe you do have to hear it again. I don't know. But you don't have to watch it again. Especially if it is just not resonating with you. Because my whole goal is to reach people that wants to be reached and to just get something in the back of their head to make them think. You know, it's not for entertainment, but for you guys to just really hear what the spirit is saying, and just know that it's coming from somebody that cares, that genuinely cares. Don't have to know you to care, but it's for love. Love makes the world go around, and sharing is caring. So I'm just dig right back into it. All right. Chapter 1 is called Love and Sex. And let me just say, the moment I post this video, like the other videos that I have never had anyone to watch the video in the same day. And even though it was only 3 views, I'm just really wondering if it has something to do with the word sex being in the title. And if so, then something that's just really wrong with our society. But I'm gonna just stay right into it. Just want to say that, okay? Don't mind the drill. I'm kind of cold right now. All right, so chapter 1 is Love and Sex. Now, I am writing in this like I don't know if I said it in the introduction, but I said like watch the introduction before you watch this video, because this is a book that I'm reading. The other chapters that's going to be labeled chapters, because I'm going to have other videos that's not going to be labeled chapters, but the other videos that's labeled as chapters, it's just for you to follow along. But I'm only going to ask you to read the introduction before you read this chapter, so you could just have the theme of what this book is about, which is called Who Do We Love. But I'm not going to ask you to read it for every other chapter, because each chapter is its own chapter. But since this is the first chapter, I would like for you to listen to the introduction, but you don't have to. Don't mind the hair, it's just sticking up. I just got back home. All right, so chapter 1 is Love and Sex. So don't put the book down just yet, especially if you have already purchased it. But sex is one of the main things we love in this day and age. From watching it on TV or phone to having it in relationships or no relationships at all. I am not judging, because I'll be judging myself, but our morals are very much messed up. But it's what we're exposed to, so I guess that makes it okay, right? Well, when I was a kid, I started watching late night shows on Cinemax, but always hoping I would not get caught. But that was me as a child. I was exposed to it, and it fascinated me. It was appealing to me. Now, as I'm writing this, I'm just thinking, why on earth was that exposed to me at such a young age? Maybe at 8 years old. I can't say it was because of my family, because it was done in secrecy. But it's what I was exposed to because it was just there on television. But then as we get older, it's completely fine to watch that stuff. And then we start to get more attention from the opposite sex. You hear phrases like, we are grown, or you're grown, and a child that everyone swears is gone because they're all grown up. But whatever happened to not having sex until marriage? We changed that to not having sex until we're grown. But in today's world, it doesn't even matter because children are doing it or being exposed to it. It's really sad. But let's just see how grown we really are. I'm going to start with myself. I have been in enough relationships, but only 4 physical ones. And one, I wasn't even with the guy. But even though I was physical with them, I can count on one hand how many times I slept with each of them. Each one I entered, I was abstinent. There are usually gaps from those physical relationships, mainly because I just try to avoid temptation and distractions if I feel you're going to be a distraction. But the last one I was in did it for me. I was completely done wasting my and their time. I ended up having an early miscarriage with the last relationship I was in. It was in September 2017. Now I was grown, I knew the truth, but I went against it. And for what? To have my heart broken? To have so much confusion? To feel lost? But before I lost my child, I went through depression because one of my options was adoption after the child was born. But then I was like, no, this is my responsibility. And I fell in love for the first time with someone I couldn't even see yet. But he or she was a part of me until they weren't. Now I'm trying to tell you how we grown up set ourselves up for disaster. We end up wasting our time and money for the person that's not for us. We risk getting unintentionally pregnant to have the emotions of sadness, panic, and for some embarrassment. We risk having the options of adoption, which may be emotionally unbearable for us and a child in the future. The option of abortion, which leads to guilt, depression, unforgiveness, maybe a psychologist in the near future that we can spend our money on. Speaking of spending money on, children are expensive when it's not planned. Children are expensive when it's not planned. And I strongly agree. That's why some children are brought up in any kind of way, or they're murdered or accidentally kidnapped, all because of our sexual desires. But never fear, spend your money here at Walmart or CVS by spending close to $50 on a Plan B or Take Action. And it's one pill, by the way. How I know? Because I took it. It was not a Plan A or Plan B for me. But even though I ended up taking it, I still ended up getting pregnant. But at least it wasn't my money, right? But we have no idea how much we waste money on Plan B, condoms, and other stuff that applies to sex. This could be a homeless person's meal for a month, or motel for just a day, someone that may need an additional amount on their bill, or any other things that's very important and can give someone hope, all because sex is more important to us. We are being warned by STDs, seeing people being cheated on, marriages broken apart because it was something but a lie, but still choose to not recognize the signs and remain stuck in the maze of our next fantasy. Please listen to the intro called Maze of Fantasy that I posted. Are we really grown? Because it still seems like we're acting like children. Men can talk all day about how big their thing is, and women can talk about how good their area is. That's really the only thing that grew on us, but our mind is still childlike. This is the pattern we choose, all because we don't build our foundation on God, but the world and everything He despises with it. The world's going to tell you that sex is all you want to see on TV, that sex sells, why there's such a thing called sex symbols. Let's not be spiritually blind. Movies and TV shows so they can hardly have one scene about someone having sex. But the enemy has disguised it with love, and people that we love to watch on TV, that we ship on and on TV. Now let's take The Notebook, for example. That will always be one of my favorite romance movies, but I felt it could have been just as good without the sex scene. Why? Because the movie was just about love. But when the enemy deceives people into thinking, I love this person, it's time to show them how much I love them. And my gosh, it was the best feeling ever. In movies, we start to believe that, and for some, their own lives. Now, many people in real life have said this person knows how to throw down and may physically love them to where they believe they emotionally love them. Some do it to fulfill their desires. But along the line, we will catch feelings once that sexual barrier is broken. But this is why sex should be shared with the one you will marry, not just anyone you believe is for you, but the person God has for you. When we decide to be with someone, we have to use wisdom and common sense. See what this person's beliefs are, and if he or she walks in them. Like Mary Angelo quoted, if someone shows you who they are, believe them, whether it's good or bad. Don't ever cloud your judgment with your own fantasy of them. When you meet your soulmate, they aren't going to be like anyone you have ever been with in your life because this is the one. But at the end of the day, it all goes by what you're looking for and who you're looking to give it to you. I have personally never yearned to be married because I came to my own conclusion that it's just not going to happen. I truly believe I am meant to be single. But who am I to say that? I didn't create myself, but God did. He knows the plans that He has for us, and that comes with our soulmate. But we become deceived into having our view. This person has to be this tall, make this much, light skin, dark skin, and last but not least, meet my sexual desires. Many of us have been with someone that meets our criteria, but then it failed. Why? Because it was not our soulmate, but the mate we made for us, but not who God made for us. Remember, we are not God. Can never be like Him. I know when God made human in His own image and looked over everything He made, He said it was good. But it doesn't mean that everything and everyone is good for you. The serpent deceiving the woman with the apple should be a great metaphor or example for how we are tempted by stuff and people. Though it'll cause deep trouble for us, the woman found the apple very appealing, ate it, disobeyed, shared it, caused someone else to disobey, and brought sin to all of our lives. So let's see. With sex, the serpent deceives the woman or man. But obviously, we will be very perplexed for a snake to talk to us today. Yeah. But instead, it uses television, sex symbols, and other things around you to make sex appealing to you. It tells the man or woman, you will not die if you have sex. Though the shrewd, look up the word shrewd. Enemy knows the real truth, but he won't show all the bad stuff that comes with it. If so, of course we wouldn't do it. Well, okay, so yeah, I'm sorry I got lost. But what comes with it? So I'm gonna read that again. He won't show all the bad stuff that comes with it. If so, of course we wouldn't do it. But what comes with it? STDs, possibly deletion of the child, or miscarriage, so we can support or question God when we should be questioning ourselves as to how we got to this point in the first place. But most importantly, it's disobedience to God. Realize that the devil wants us in hell with him and does not want what God has for us. The enemy knows how hard it is to turn away from something you're addicted to. So he convinces everyone that it's a normal thing to do whether you love someone or not. I'll be honest. I didn't love anyone I had sex with and still knew the truth behind it. Very much, not my character, but wanted to please someone that I didn't even love. But even if I did love them, I truly loved them, I would have protected their soul as well, but not doing it outside of marriage, whether they move on to the next person or not. I love my Heavenly Father more than anything or anyone, and only want to please them, not my flesh or anyone else's. If there is a husband God created for me, then that's what I choose. You know how the sun goes of day and the moon goes of night, how Adam went with Eve, though they disobeyed their creator, our creator. But this is how our soulmate is set up for us. He or she will be specially made for us because God was involved and not us. But every marriage needs a foundation, even with your soulmate. That foundation has to be God. He has to be in the middle of your marriage, just like he was and still is a creation of everything around us, from the moon to the ground. Why pass that up for a fantasy of your choosing, rather than a person that's destined for you? So the question is, who do you love? God's promise or yours? And I'm going to have scriptures in the description to just back up what I'm talking about, because I'm not going to talk about anything when it does not align with the truth, because that'll just be my own human counterfeit wisdom. And I don't roll like that at all. I don't know much. Okay, I don't know anything unless I get it from the Bible and God puts something in my spirit to help better explain the Bible. And I'm not calling myself a pastor or anything, I'm far from it. But that's why if you go to a church, you have pastors that explain things in a way for you to understand. Okay, not every pastor may just go directly from the Bible, and they don't just have the spirit to get things across to you in a way for you to understand. But that's just how God works. That's how the Holy Spirit works. He works through people to get you to understand. But at the end of the day, it still has to go back to the Bible, because the Bible is the truth, it's the word. Okay, I'm gonna say that like almost every video unintentionally, but that's just what it is. That's just what it is. If I was just to say things out of my own mouth and have my own thoughts, I would feel very sorry for you and feel very sorry for myself. But I know who uses me because I asked God to use me. And when you ask God to use you, He will use you in a way that you will not want to be used, because I don't even like to talk, but in a way that He knows for you to be used, because He knows you better than anybody. He knows you better than you know you, because He created you. And that's what goes with sex as well. Don't listen to Trey songs, okay? He did not create sex. He did not create it. It bothers me when guys be saying like, oh, was I good? Was I this? Was I that? I'm just like, who are you in competition with? Like, and this is like guy I wasn't even with. But I don't know what the guys be saying, like, was I good? Was it good? And I know there's people that have relationships like that where they're not even with the person, but they have sexual encounters even though they're not romantically involved with that person. But that question is just a bit crazy to me. Like, now it is. Before I was just like, oh yeah, it was, even though it really wasn't. But I only want to hear that from my husband. And honestly, I don't want to hear that from my husband. My husband shouldn't even have to ask me that, because sweetie, I love you. And communication goes by. You shouldn't have to ask that question afterwards. You should ask that question during, because I just feel you had to know what that female is gonna like, vice versa, what feels good and what doesn't. But communication is important in every way, like even with having sex with someone, but just make sure it is with the person that you are married with, you are married to. So again, I say like it shouldn't just be what we feel is right for us, because what we feel is right for us is the main thing that is wrong for us. God has created our body, and how I look at our bodies, I look at it as like how someone will say like, watch over my coat. It could be a very expensive coat, or just something that is just priceless to this person, and you will make sure in your power to not ever get it stained, messed up, wrinkled, whatever the case may be. You will keep it as if you didn't even touch it, as if, I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know why someone would say, "Hey, watch my coat," or whatever. Like, maybe they're moving. I'm gonna just say maybe they're moving and they need someone to like watch their coat, or they're getting in their house, something remodeled or fumigated, whatever that word means, and they need someone to just watch something very precious to them. So when they come back forward, they're not expecting anything to be messed up. but just get it back just as they gave it to you. You know, that's how God sees our body. I know that for a fact because we didn't create our body. We just create the things that we just create the things that we shouldn't create with our body. Sometimes we don't know how to use our body most of the time. That's why you see so much. That's why I'm probably having back pain right now, because I'm not using my body in the way that I should. Not saying that I'm doing anything that I shouldn't be doing, but work wise, I don't stretch as much as I need to. I don't work out as much as I need to. But with the act of sex, though, that's getting another party involved. So it's just not you messing up your body, but you're messing up someone else's body. Please watch my video. I care more about my flesh than your soul. Okay, it's a poem talking about how someone cares more about sex than someone's soul or their own soul. But just please know that our body is not our own. It's a temple. It is God's gift to us. He knows everything of what he wanted our body to do, what he wanted everything to do, coming from our hair, how he wanted us to look, the long fingers that we have, the smile, the eyes, the nose, just everything, the skin color. Okay, it is nothing but man that has made it into something that it should not be. That's why you have racism. That's why you have human trafficking. That's why you have strip clubs. People making money off of God's creation. People mess up their souls because of God's, not because of God's creation, but people mess up their souls and not realizing that God gave us a soul in the first place. And as far as like soulmates go, like I used to believe that before, like after I wrote this, I really just started paying attention. Like, it's not just a specific person, like I'm gonna create this person through this mother's woman, create this person with this mother's woman. They're gonna meet up one day and become soulmates. Like, I used to think like that, like it was some kind of fairy tale or whatever. But no, I strongly know and believe that it's when it's the mindset, it's the mind frame that you have. So when one person is on the right path that they should be on, and another is on the path that they should be on, God see these two souls and see that their souls are similar, are the same. Their foundation is on him. Because I don't believe that a lost soul and a found soul can be together. How can your soul mate if you have two completely different souls? Because if that was the case, then many souls will be together, whether it's a good soul or a bad soul. But you have two bad souls, but it doesn't ever really work out. But this is not math. Like a negative and a negative does not make a positive. A negative and a negative of souls makes much more negativity. But positivity and positivity equals positivity. But like I said in the chapter, even with both positive souls and good spirits, it still has to be on God. Because we could easily fall off. We can easily fall off. But that's why it takes prayer. That's why it takes the foundation in the first place. Okay. In the first place. I forgot what I was talking about. To stick to that foundation and get to the place of having many great years of marriage. That's It's just my opinion. I've never been married before, but just paying attention to other people's experiences and seeing what their foundation was built on, that's just what I came to know and realize, you know. And it's just people that I just know and could have a conversation with, not people that I may see on TV and be like, oh yeah, I want to be like them, because we just see how television and the industry is now. I don't ever want to be like that. But I hope this resonates with y'all. Okay, I'm gonna try to shoot a video tonight, um, talking about the love of self. I actually didn't post this video, but when I post that video, I was still talking like, so I was like, okay, it's just a microphone. So hopefully this one works well. You know, I charged it for 2 days, so hopefully it works good. But you guys be blessed. Again, my name is Mariah Oliver. Thank you very much.